Brace yourself for the ultimate test, the ABSA Off-Road Championship, and fast-track yourself through the race with vehicle and asset finance from ABSA. Today, tomorrow, together. Go!
The Kuppel Club, organisers of the 2006 Ford Carnival City 400 on November the 17th and 18th, are hoping the final event of the 8-race series will see them upstage other organisers on the ABSA Off-Road Championship calendar. The club is banking on the event drawing the biggest entry of the year, 06, and also has high hopes that a revised route will produce an unusually high percentage of finishes in both the production vehicle and special vehicle categories. With a couple of championship issues still outstanding, the East Rand event is one of the most spectator-friendly on the championship roster and thus should also draw big crowds. The majority of competitors live in the Gauteng area, said Chief Organiser Willie Prinsloo, and we're hoping that numbers of regional competitors put off by the costs of national events and long travel distances will take advantage of an event on their own doorstep. The revised route is by no means a car breaker, and they're also hoping to see a very high proportion of finishers. The penultimate event, the Toyota Dealer 400 in Mpumalanga, drew 65 starters with 42 finishes. There were 38 starters in the special vehicle category with an almost 50% finish rate at 22, while 27 starters took off in the production vehicle category with 19 finishes. Those are indeed impressive figures and again illustrates the popularity curve through which off-road racing is going. The Ford Carnival City 400 will hopefully go one better, but much will depend on the rather fickle weather at this time of the year. The Ford Carnival City 400 has in fact in the recent past earned something of a reputation as a big rainmaker, but luckily that hasn't stopped spectators from turning out in their droves. The event offers a great day of family entertainment hosted at a top-class facility, and yet another bumper event, no pun intended, is expected. Perennial rivals Toyota and Nissan will square up to each other again in the production vehicle category at the final round of the ABSA Off-Road Championship, and no quarter will be asked or given. At stake will be the prestigious South African Manufacturers Championship. The championship is one of two remaining title issues to be settled in the season's finale, with Nissan and Ford crews involved in the other one, which will go right down to the wire. A late flurry on the recent Toyota Dealer 400 in Mpumalanga saw Nissan close the deficit on Toyota, who's led the Manufacturers Championship for most of the season. Going into the Ford Carnival City 400, the gap is just a handful of points, and there will be plenty of pressure on the factory and privateer crews from both camps. In a category where most of the championship issues were settled last time out, the situation adds just a little spice to proceedings. So too does the other title fight in the all-new super production class, where overall champions Hannes Grobler and Francois Jordan in the proudly South African Nissan Navara are locked in a very serious battle with Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer in the Works Ford Racing Ranger. With the Ford pair boasting a 100% finish record this season and having to drop one score, the scales are tilted in favour of Grobler and Jordan completing a double. The situation does, however, provide a little extra motivation for Woolridge and Scholthammer, along with Rob Gurney and Graham Steinbank in the second factory Ford Ranger, on an event sponsored by Ford, so there's added pressure there already. With Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford in the second factory Nissan Navara winning the Toyota Dealer 400 Nissan by a narrow margin, they lead Ford by 5 wins to 2 this season. That also provides both crews with a little added incentive, but it's the two factory Castrol Toyota teams who will be itching to get into the winner's circle, a place they haven't seen too much of lately. Not a whole lot has actually gone right this season for Mark Ronier and his navigator Chris Birkin, or the other pairing, Bevan Berthold and Robin Houghton in the Castrol Toyota Hilux V6 entries. A win at Carnival City would go a long way towards brightening Toyota's season and will play a major role in the manufacturer's fight. In the championship race, Toyota will also be looking for a big effort from their Class D representatives. Nissan will be in the same boat, but will be aware that Toyota crews here have won every event so far this season. The incumbent champions Christopher Sand, his co-driver Jaapie Badenhorst, in their Tyco Trucks Toyota Hilux have stormed to victory 4 times in 06. and father and son Hichu and Jaap de Bruin in their Castrol Toyota Hilux twice, with a lone win going to another father and son pairing Cliff and Louis Weichelt in the Bosel Toyota Hilux. The Weichelts have had a tough time of it in the second part of the season though, and along with the Visser-Bardnos combination and the de Bruins will be looking for a good end to the season. Kutsia Beskaghni in the driver's seat and his co Johan Gerber in the Raysonics Nissan hardbody have been the most consistent of the Nissan entries. Patchy form has plagued the BB Auto Nissan entries of Arnold Duplessis and Johan Knox, and the Duplessis brothers, Yuri and Andre, and all three crews would relish putting an end to the recent Toyota domination. Down in Class E, it will again be a case of the Toyota hordes with a little help from Nissan ganging up on champions Manfred Schroeder and Ward Huxtable in the Ford Racing Ranger. A surprise first ever class win for the Toyota husband and wife pairing of George and Sharon Barkhuizen in the Rocon Toyota Hilux entry on the Toyota Dealer 400 could not stop Schroeder and Huxtable from comprehensively clinching the championship. While the Ford pair will want to win on their own event, their Toyota rivals will want another taste of victory. Factory crew Brian Martin and Oki Fourie in the Castrol Toyota Hilux will lead the assault with a little help from the likes of Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux in a Toyota Hilux. Brothers Mark and Stuart Moffat in the Bosel Toyota Hilux, and former track racers Jaco Swanepoel and Fabio Tafani in the IDM Cement and Club Refrigeration entries. After a couple of recent disappointments, Thomas Rondel and Brian Roberts in the Baden Tyre Services Nissan hardbody will also be looking to get things back on track and end the season on a high note. A lot of needle amongst the top teams along with outstanding championship issues could hardly provide the special vehicle category with a more explosive finale to the ABSA Off-Road Championship at the Ford Carnival City 400, and there's still a lot to play for. While the Premier Overall and Class A championships have been settled in favour of off-road legend Alfie Cox and Henny ter Steege from the Motorrad Bat Camp, the Class B and Class S titles are still up for grabs, and the manner in which the Overall and Class A titles were settled on the recent Toyota Dealer 400 suggests that there could be a little ill feeling amongst the top crews. After winning the Toyota Dealer 400, the Atlas Copco Porter pair of Gary Berthold and Henry Costain were relegated by race officials to third. That decision was overturned by the stewards of the meeting, who reinstated Berthold and Costain and led to a not unexpected appeal by the Motorrad outfit. Whatever the result of the Motorsport SA Appeal Court hearing, it won't affect the outcome of the championship. It does, however, set up a situation where Berthold and Costain will be more than keen to upstage the black and silver liveried and well-oiled Motorrad Bat crews of Cox and ter Steege, Evan Hutchison and Kim Bergman, and Cape winner Brandon Honkes, who's in car with Marcel Trethouille. All four crews have in fact won this season already, and all four, no doubt, have the pace and aggression to dominate at Carnival City. It is an intriguing situation, but there are other players who also enter the equation. Former champion Shamir Variawa and VZ Van Sale in the Total Porter went well in Mpumalanga, as did Rob and Gareth Walk, who were sharing the driving duties in the single-seater Super Pave Bat. Their chances can by no means be written off, while Gerard and Kobe Duplessis in the Jimco could very well be solid outside bets. The outgoing champions Terence Marsh and Mike Whitehouse in the National Mobile Bat would like to go with a bang after recent disappointments and loss of form, with Lesotho crew John Moore and Ashley Thorne in their Free Spirit Chevy also having shown plenty of pace of late. The Clint Gibson Mike Brown duo in the Absolute Bat also have the potential to upset an apple cart or two, while Nardis Alberts and Colin Hunter are due a win in their impressive sounding Red Rapsa Bat. Where pride and championships are concerned, anything could and normally does happen. With this in mind, the scene in Brakpan is set for a memorable event. Matters in Class B look like developing into a real dogfight where any one of four crews could win the championship. Veterans Ernest Corbett and Warwick Goosen in the Century Property Developments Bat start off with what could be a decisive 11-point advantage over Jan and Hendrik Kraai in the Keymax Bat. Only 5 points separate the Keymax pair, Johan and Etienne Besaidnout in the Edenko Bat, and the nuggety Swaziland crew John Thompson and Clinton McNamara in their Zarko. Corbett and Goosen have emerged as the form team over the last couple of events, but anything can and probably will happen at Carnival City. The situation in Class S revolves mainly around the Drivers' Championship, where reigning champion and veteran road racer Richard Schilling in the Plastotech Aceco trails Nick Gosler's Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team Raceco by just 9 points. Schilling's co-driver Chris Davies is out of the woods in the Navigator Stakes, but behind him, only 4 points separate Richard Carolyn, paired with Gosler, Craig Doubtfire, who calls for Archie Rutherford in their National Mobile Raceco, and Peter van Vieren, who is Gary Gillingham's co-driver in the Shell Raceco. It's going to be a bun fight of note. For the experienced Schilling, it's another test of character in a long and successful career. An interesting tactically testing and resolute battle is likely to emerge. While the production vehicle overall title has been settled in favour of the proudly South African Nissan Navara pair of Krobler and Jordan, they are tied in the SP class with Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer.
We didn't thought we were going to already win it with this event, and we thought it's going to go to the wire to the last event, but it's nice to have it in the bag now, so we can concentrate on the last event.
Krobler has been involved with Datsun and then Nissan for a long time, but he has high praise for the outfit and their professionalism.
You know, to be involved with the Nissan team and with a professional team like the Nissan team with Lynn heading it, you know, it's unbelievable to drive for them. You know, it's a long time that I've been involved in developing and building cars myself, and you know, now I know how nice it is to just come and just drive the car, you know, and you've got a winning car and the other guys are chasing you.
Last year he wanted to retire. Is he still ready to kick young butt?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got another few years left over, and I can still teach some of the guys, you know, to drive, and maybe I'll rethink it in a few years' time.
The Class D and Class E championships were also settled on Leidenberg's Toyota Dealer 400. Informed Toyota pair Chris Visser and Jaapie Baarnost in the Tyco Trucks Toyota Hilux were impressive.
We were in front about 50 km out, and we had a flat tyre, so he came past and Arnold came past. But I must say it was a great event. Well done to Toyota, my Bucky. Thanks very much for Toyota Motorsport, and thanks for organising everybody. It was a great event and I enjoyed it. It was very rough.
Leidenberg provided a very tough test indeed. We wanted to know from Visser how hard was it to keep concentrating on the difficult and different route in Mpumalanga. It was, after all, a tough test.
I must say, no, yes, there's 2 loops, the western 2 loops, yes, was very, very bad. I must say, the one in a plantation was excellent, but this side was very, very rough. And but I must say, luckily I'm driving a Toyota, so no problems. I just had a flat tire, that's all. The misfire this morning a little bit, and we changed the fuel pump, and but now it's fine. It was for us it was a great event, and I'm very glad I won the championship. I just thank Jaapie for all his assistance. We never got lost today, and everything was just fine.
Manfred Schroeder and Ward Huxtable in the factory Ford Racing Ranger have dominated Class E and enjoyed Mpumalanga.
The route is excellent. It's so well marked. The route book is so exact. It's definitely, I think, the best organised event we've had so far this year. Yeah, no, it's you know, all we needed to is finish to win the championship. You know, we came in second overall. George and Sharon, I mean, George apparently was driving very well. We tried as hard as we could the last loop to catch him, but he just kept that gap and we couldn't even get close to him.
On to the manufacturer's trophy battle, and a late flurry saw Nissan outscore Toyota on the Toyota Dealer 400, and going into the Ford Carnival City 400 event, Toyota have a narrow 20-point lead. It's precious little advantage, but there will be an enormous amount of pressure on the Toyota crews throughout the various classes. In the special vehicle category, it's all done and dusted too. Here, Alfie Cox clinched his 26th lifetime SA Motorsport National Championship, an unprecedented showing, confirming him as one of the Rainbow Nation's most successful racers of all time, if not the most decorated.
Yeah, look, it's been a fantastic. I've just had fun the whole day. I mean, obviously I'm looking for the championship, which we've actually clinched today, and I mean, to go into the last race, really have won the championship. I mean, for me, it's been a great, you know, moving to 4 wheels and winning 2 championships now, both in the special and in the production. But today has been an exceptional day. Gary's been a hard customer. Evan's been also good. and I've just been saving the car, and it's just come all the way to me, and yeah, I'm happy.
Conditions out there for you and Henny in the cockpit, any problems?
No, well, we ran out of brakes the last lap. The plunger started leaking on the front pistons, so we've only had rear brakes for the whole of the last lap. But you know, he's made a fantastic navigation job the whole year, and you know, without the team, you just don't win championships. And to Evan and Chris, the mechanic, that have done such a good job, and just to Motorrad. I mean, you know, how do you come to a championship just finishing races and winning, and it just never ends? And you know, having a good navigator like Henny, the tyres, the Goodyears have been fantastic, and I must say the whole package has just won us the championship. I'm delighted.
But remember, the Class A results of the Toyota Dealer 400 are still under appeal. Whether or not the Motorrad back pair of Cox and Versteeg are given the win ahead of Berthold and Costain, it's irrelevant. But there are championship issues still outstanding in Class B and Class S. The Ford Carnival City 400 will start on November.